Hello and welcome to the first episode of a new season of the Esports Social Club, not another podcast, proudly presented by Skrilla. Gentlemen, I am joined by Ian Sniper Turner and Geordie McAleer.
Hello.
And myself, James Jimenez O'Cowan. Gentlemen, we had somewhat of what you would call a Christmas break.
Yeah.
Short hiatus. I'm back, boys.
We're all back.
I'm back. I've been gone.
I didn't go too far.
I don't know if you noticed. That guy that was in my seat was actually Danny Kim, not me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the last one.
He was funnier.
I know we look very similar.
Let's just clear that up quickly. So we didn't
both
get
like
to
chili.
have a proper final episode for season 1 because it sort of just all fell apart.
I'm falling apart.
Yeah, you're falling apart.
Nothing else.
You
is
mean
falling
like
apart.
a good biscuit we broke apart
over
and went
Christmas.
over Christmas.
Yeah.
And went our separate ways.
Fell into the tea.
Yeah.
Found it at the bottom.
But, okay.
That's cleared up then. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
well,
are we going to
screwed
dip
up
into
the end of the season and we're back with a new season. So hopefully we screw up the end of this season less.
Oh, yeah, look, I think it's a difficult time of year because at that point in time last year, there wasn't a lot happening in esports. But since we've been gone, and we're not talking Kelly Clarkson here.
Get out.
What? You can't breathe for the first time? No, there's been a lot happening in the esports space. And I think it's good to get back and have a chat about it and obviously weigh in, as well. Sean taking a step back from the podcast.
Who?
And yeah, exactly. He's on the sidelines now. I even saw him
Holy shit,
potentially.
Mac.
Do you reckon he'll listen to it?
Of course. He's
reckon
got
he'll
questions
listen?
in the mailbag.
Yeah.
Oh, he
You've done
does too.
goofed. You've done goofed.
Nah, it's all right. He's all right. Who's probably going to hit me like he hit TJ?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not happy
Yeah.
about that.
It wasn't a rolled up mouse pad.
Let's cancel this guy.
The amount of times that Ian's said who to like people that everyone knows, and then we're talking about Baal.
Who?
All right. Anyway,
as we said, over Christmas, we've been away. Even had some events and things like that to kick off the start of the year. Myself, I was away kicking off Auscraft in sunny Melbourne, which turned out to be, unfortunately, smoky Melbourne for the last few days, but beautiful spot down there.
Harden up, princess.
Look,
Could
we
be-
still,
be worse.
during the pack out, during the pack
Bed
up,
could be burning.
well, Monka, that's all I'm going to say. But during the pack up anyway, we actually did manage to get some laps of the pool in.
Yeah.
But beautiful spot. Obviously, quite a cool event, actually. It was a meeting of the minds in that there was quite a few hands from the Starcraft 2 community, obviously, who are somewhat starved of events. And to have an event where basically, if you didn't catch it, it was essentially players all in a mansion for a weekend playing a Starcraft competition. The broadcast was much the same. It was casual. It was fun. It was content heavy as well. So something like that obviously doesn't get done in this region for StarCraft. They're more used to the traditional broadcasts.
I don't think anyone has a tournament in this region for fun that has 3 streams.
No, that ran 3 streams.
International talent, international players.
Correct. So
Yeah.
all of those, it was, and then obviously a lot of content to buffer that as well. So it wasn't just cutting to an ad break. The goal was to have some sort of content going, whether it was something live around the house, something cool. But it was a meeting of the minds in that we had a lot of not just StarCraft 2 personnel, obviously myself and Maverick who we talk about quite a bit on the podcast, was heading up the broadcast and the tech side of things as well. We had some guys from QT who pretty much helped steer the ship in that particular realm. But there was also some guys from different communities as well, from like the FGC and other esports titles, which was kind of cool because, we don't really get to cross-pollinate with those guys, and they have a wealth of knowledge that they bring as well. And it was quite cool to see everybody working together in a dynamic. But, watch that space a little bit more. I think there's potentially some more to come out of that camp later on down the year.
You think?
I think. I'm just going to, just open that door.
You think? Read between the lines, people.
There's a lot of reading to be done, Ian, okay? But, yeah, I'm keen to see, obviously, what gets announced next in that one. Obviously, I would know, but...
I'm keen to see it too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an enjoyable series of events under that banner, which is going to bring, as we said, a wealth of knowledge across multiple different esports titles to the one place. And, it's a bit like the style of events that they're bringing are lighter, they're entertainment focused, they're content heavy.
Yeah.
And
any technical difficulties, fat-fingered of drycasters or anything like that?
No, we don't tend to blame non-endemics.
Uh-huh.
So everyone there was, to some degree, endemic.
Are we still using that word? I thought we banned that.
No, we only refer to non-endemic friends.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You missed that one.
Okay. Sorry. I missed one show.
To DK.
No, but like,
You're not in.
I think the thing is, if there were any mistakes, and, largely there weren't. If anything, it was a pretty comprehensive internal review that was taking place, and we want to obviously better things. But, if there were any shortcomings, I think the team that had been assembled would definitely own that.
Yeah.
Not try and blame it and palm it off.
How many...
Start 2020 the right way.
How many staff did you have? In
Whoa.
terms of raw production.
In production?
Don't count anyone from like socials or any
So-
of those other bludgers.
For 3 broadcasts, we had a total of 5 staff.
Unreal.
That was just the live broadcast team.
Yep.
And then for the content team, it's a content team of about 4
Yeah.
that pumped all that content out as well.
That's pretty sick.
So for a lot of it, we didn't actually work together either. So that was actually a huge success. So hats off to the content team that have been absolutely that had smashed out content. We had an editor there, Stephen. He was just a machine. He was just given clip after clip after clip and was just producing. So, there's a lot of good people put in the right place, I think, for that event. And future events are. If it's the same crowd, it's going to be awesome.
That's cool. So with the event, what was the goal? Just to have a good time? And also, where'd the money come from? Because they're the questions I've been asking. Just
to showcase that these sorts of things can be done.
Achievable.
I'm actually not too sure where the funding came from, but I know that it was fronted in that it was to showcase
Safe to say
and create a proof of concept.
It's MJ's project.
It is his project in that he basically assembled all these people, put them all together, and let them do the thing, let them show their strength. And I think it's safe to say that that is the result of you looking very
39
dazed.
degrees in Sydney tomorrow. Totally on topic.
Totally on topic.
Totally on topic.
Oh, we're sitting here sweating already.
Things are spicing up.
Waiting for it. But I think it was a great way to showcase that there were many different talents hidden within OCE Esports, and obviously
that you can do a good job.
You can do a good job when they all come together. It doesn't need to necessarily be a core FGC crew, a core Counter-Strike crew, or a core Starcraft crew that can run an event.
And just from our conversations, I already know you rented some gear. So how much do you think you rented? A lot of it?
No.
Could you do it again without renting so much? Like,
we rented some cameras, 1 or 2
for the content.
And there was 1 or 2 bits and pieces of broadcast hardware, namely sound, some of the stage boxes and the mixer and
some
things
stuff
like that.
that we don't have.
Some stuff that we don't have, but not necessarily that we have, or we actually do have. Sorry, but it's just better versions.
Well, that's what
of those things.
We don't have those better versions, but we ran that Rocket League all right. But what I'm trying to ascertain here is like, if we wanted to go and do this again,
It could be done.
It could be done.
It could be done.
Right.
100%. I think that's today.
No, to that level.
To that level, yeah.
Right now, right
today,
here.
mate.
Let's
No,
go.
you cut me off.
I've only just unplugged.
I was like, to that.
To today, Junior.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. It was great to be a part of that. And then basically I drove down from Sydney to Melbourne, came back.
Whoa, the dream.
Risky
the dream.
business. Fires didn't cut you off?
I did on the way down. I actually had to take
There you go.
an extended route on the way down because of some highway closures, particularly through the snowy mountains and whatnot. But I had to come back through.
Not ironic name.
Yeah. Yeah, actually. But on the way back, it was actually not too bad. It was actually pretty clear roads, which was good. Then back into some GenerOzity as well, which was kind of cool because I have not done any charity events in a while. Yeah. And that was essentially a huge charity event. They did like a 48-hour stream over the course of the weekend. Had a range of different content creators in there.
Was that using your gear or just your prowess?
No, that was just using my voice, essentially.
Yeah.
And lending myself to the memes. But that was awesome because...
I saw you kiss Big G.
It was it's already been a sore point.
I did not see that, Jim. I didn't know about that, Jim. And we'll have words afterwards.
It's on my Twitter.
I'm not looking for it, mate. Trust me. We live here together.
Yeah.
Our landlord already has
Thoughts.
The neighbourhood
dreams.
has thoughts, mate. When we go and get a coffee,
They're pretty accepting.
it's all right, love.
They're pretty accepting here.
He'll get it next time.
Yeah.
But that's all right. It's a good community.
Yeah. Now I'm not getting changed for the door open again.
No.
Great.
Okay. This is how it ends.
Anyway,
guys,
back on topic.
Yeah.
Nothing's for free in this world, Jim.
So you did your first
fees, not
proper
free.
broadcaster's talent for the year.
Yeah, I did. It was a Rocket League tournament, the Fire and Rescue Charity Cup. Had run for a few days beforehand, but we broadcast the finals live at GenerOzity. It was good. It was great to see an upset in that one as well. It wasn't the favourites that actually came away with the win. So the victors, I think, donated a portion of their prize pool to charity as well.
Usually happens with show matches, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah. To be fair, a lot of the teams weren't complete teams. In fact, the majority that we saw on the day were all mixes. So,
for a good cause. Like,
For a good
really,
cause.
I don't like that there's a prize money. But whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Either way, there was a portion of it donated back to charity. I think it was a good portion of it too. So that was was good. That was basically the reason as to why my start of the year has been somewhat delayed. I know Ian was basically pointing fingers at me for not being available to...
Priorities, Jim.
My gear was not available for the podcast.
Don't worry, I saw MJ had you back.
That's right.
Look, I was clearly doing...
Someone knew my whereabouts.
I was clearly having bants. But now that MJ and Jim are working together, hell hath no fury. Like an MJ scorned if I go after Jim. Even bantering, he's just like not going to have a bar of it. I'm like, oh, you're no fun, MJ.
I can defend myself.
Yeah. With it, all you did was WTF. And I know that kind of WTF you give. It's like what have I done? Like a
capital.
Why the attack? Why the attack? It should be WTA. And you know exactly why the attack. But it's okay. You're just a scapegoat. The real reason is I wasn't here.
Yeah, you weren't back until I think... Well, actually, it was pretty funny because I left.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I don't... Like, I get back when you leave again for Melbourne. So there was pretty much a month of this house being unoccupied.
Except for the meerkat.
Hidden in his rooms. Multiple rooms now.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's actually now more of a burrow.
Technically, he owns more of the house than we do.
Oh.
It's true.
So he gets more of the say.
Well, we maintained... No, we maintained ratio of like
say?
Payment.
Oh, payment. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see?
I'm just... Okay. Maybe I shouldn't let him tell me what to do then.
Maybe you should stand up for yourself, Ian.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pretty scary.
No, I kind of like it, to be honest.
Meerkats
Anyway,
stand
moving on to
tall.
esports. And back on to esports, should I say. There's been a lot that's happened while we were away. And, as we said, towards the end of our last season, There wasn't a lot happening. Obviously, things were winding down for the year, but boy, did 2020 kick off with a bang across multiple esports. And now, obviously, we're all a little bit more Counter-Strike native than most. And let's just say...
This happens every year, by the way.
Yeah.
Christmas comes and it's just like reporter heaven, journalist heaven, because they finally have content.
Well, it's kind of weird in the sense that, like, obviously, in traditional sports, there's a bit of a silly season towards the start of the year or anything like that. There's a players off contract, on contract. In esports, no one's contract ever lines up with the start of the year. So players being released and players being bought out of things.
More likely to be mid-year.
Yeah. But we never really see a huge roster shake-up after Christmas.
Which makes no sense because there's no tournaments. Now, it's not even an official player break, but there's just no tournaments in the Western world during Christmas. I mean, I know I saw some Ukrainian stuff, and
I think there was Blast, maybe.
Yeah, and guys, please, people trying to have Christmas with their families. You only get 40 of them.
Well, basically it was touted as being a big dick move to be the last tournament of the year. Yeah, well, everyone wants to be the last tournament of the year.
What an achievement to put on the shelf,
Yeah. But obviously in the OCE scene, that didn't really mean too much. It wasn't really anyone.
So now is the best time to do these changes. You get the most time to boot camp, work together as a team, and then you see this other one with the Katowice qualifiers. So if they had just worked a little bit earlier,
Is it? Well, yeah. Actually, the roster changes that we're talking about
were left very late.
But also there were instances of the Katowice qualifiers playing out, but then some of the players saying that shouldn't have had such a long player break because they only ended up coming back with maybe 1 or 2 days of practice.
Yeah,
in the instance of Renegades, so that was quite funny.
Bit self-inflicted though. You can prac over
the
end of the year after Chrissy if you really want to.
Do we have to be the common sense brigade here? I mean, is this a thing?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the players don't actually listen to this. It's more the org owners anyway.
Did the Katowice qualifiers really sneak up on anybody? They were announced pretty well ahead of time.
Yeah, I think it was more the fact that they weren't on HLTV till the day of or a couple of days before. So everyone else thought that it was sneaking up. But
did Flames not know about it?
I know that players
working for HLTV?
Got emails for the dates a couple of weeks beforehand at least.
Oh, okay.
Because someone was like,
"What happened to the
TeamSpeak?" Someone was like, "Oh,
Discord.
Got an email from something about this
bloke."
And then they were like, "Oh, please keep confidential." And I was like, "Yeah, didn't hear anything. It's all right."
Yeah, sounds like they didn't use the proper channels.
Mate, next thing you'd be asked to sign an NDA.
Yeah, one day.
My God.
One day, maybe.
My God.
Do I sell my soul? That's the question. I've signed an NDA before. It's not a fun time.
That's not your first one.
You feel guilty about saying anything.
Yeah, you are guilty if you say something, you idiot.
No,
that's the whole point of the NDA,
you feel
Mac.
guilty thinking about every word you say. You're like, am I stepping over a line?
Yeah, you probably are if you're thinking that.
No, it's like...
I don't know, man. I've
never
dodged lines every
never
day.
had a problem. Yeah.
Nah, look, I've never really had an issue either. But let's talk roster moves. Yeah, okay, that's all.
But I think that's
a real sticking point, isn't it?
Yeah, that contract's null and void, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was all went down in history. But we're talking about one of the big moves, and obviously since the Renegades roster acquired Greyhound, one of the most beloved players, I think it's safe to say, stepped back. And when I say beloved, he's...
I stepped back years ago.
From this roster.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but obviously Dick's out. He's no longer... I really just wanted to say that. He's no longer in the ex-Greyhound, now Renegades roster because of an eye condition.
I'm still going to refer to them as Greyhounds.
It's tough to break that mold, isn't it?
It's not even worth changing.
Renehounds.
Yeah.
Greygades.
Yep.
No, it doesn't really work.
Brigades?
Doesn't have the ring to it.
Yeah, I mean, did it come as a shock, really? I don't know.
Well, I think for a long time, everyone wants to point fingers at players in rosters. And when you look at the Greyhound roster now, Renegades, everyone was like, well, who's underperforming?
I always blame the entry frag.
Always blame the entry frag, always blame the support, always blame the IGL. Anyone that's not statistically appealing.
Yeah, someone who's if you're not in a statistic anomaly, you're out. You're the first guy on the chopping block.
Yeah. And by that, I guess that's the entire Vitality roster, right?
Yeah.
Other than Ziwu.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess like, you
Unbelievable
can't
stats that guy.
blame Dexter in a situation like that, though.
Like, what?
He's
What
like-
for what?
Well, you said you usually blame the IGL, but he's probably
He's
Oh,
probably
no,
the best.
best
but,
fragging IGL.
You can clearly
all of
see,
the-
that he is one of the best players in our region.
Yeah. We were more so referring to the fact that anyone that doesn't seem to have that good stats is normally first on the chopping block. But
Yeah.
Dick Stacey removed himself from the equation. He's taken a step back. I've seen him streaming a little bit. We had a bit of a question over what was next for him.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that in the meantime, he's at least streaming to make up his mind. As
It
to what's
might be
next.
too little,
Yeah.
too late. Like he should have started this stream a long time ago, while he was still in the Greyhounds and
Well,
being
he
able to
did.
capitalize off that.
He just couldn't, I guess, string it in with everything else he was doing being a player.
Sure. So, I mean, I understand that. Obviously, as a player myself, you do spend a lot of time grinding with the team, but when you're not grinding with the team, that's an opportunity. But I understand there's also other things like having a personal life. That's most players have one these days.
Yeah.
So that's going to trump streaming. So streaming now will take over from his playing hours. And these guys are lucky to get a personal life, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like if I was Dick Stacey, I would straight away just be looking for like international opportunities as a talent, because he could slot in somewhere.
I was an actor.
He could be like a
Yeah.
as like
I
a
want him on-
stunner.
Yeah, I want him in the content
You know
team
what I
as an
mean?
actor.
No, he probably wouldn't be able to do. You got to understand what Stunner does is next level. Like not anyone can just go and do what Stunner does.
I think
Yeah.
the thing that also needs to be recognised here is the fact that like Stunner he isn't at that level he is now overnight.
Yeah.
When he stopped coaching Cloud9,
It's at least 2 years in the making.
and like there was a period there where they fall into these roles or they step into these roles, some of them, and there's a little bit of time they need to hone their craft a little bit.
Yeah.
Become a little bit more polished. It's very difficult because without that opportunity being given to him, he's not going to break
Dick's
into
not going to get
any
that
of those roles.
opportunity. He's not going to get that opportunity, I don't think.
Unless it's domestically.
All he could get would be like a crowd gig where like
Stage host.
just
Personality.
just in the stage, like, I've got this guy here, crowd interviews kind of thing, or
Yeah.
maybe just a content piece. So before the tournament, walking around, talking to people, stuff like that. I think that's where, using his personality, his huge personality, that's where he'd probably
He's a bit of a heartthrob.
But that's it, right? That's it. That's as far as it goes because, I mean, as a streamer, that's where he's really going to win because he gets to just be himself or he gets to be this
And
guy that people want him to be.
to be honest, too, that's probably the best place to practice those skills, right? Is on
Yeah.
your stream. Interact with chat. You need to be talking.
Once he has
coming
a
up with
following,
conversations
he can
on
do
the
any
fly.
job, right? Because then they'll want him for his following.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't think he's ready for that either. And obviously, he's got personal life as well.
Mhm.
You can't just drop everything and go to Europe because like pretty much messes with you to just leave everything behind, like family, everything. And
Responsibility. If you've got anything,
not having a house, not having a home, stuff like that. So
it's a big move.
as we've seen with some of the other talent who are more open about the troubles that they go through.
Yep.
So, but yeah, good on him for taking the L, getting out of the team, and allowing the Renegades to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And this new roster looks pretty strong. What do you guys think about it?
I
With
think it's
hats in now.
Yeah, with Hats. So Hats replacing Dick Stacey, I feel like is going to take them a little further than what the roster did previously. From what I've heard, he's slotting in nicely.
I think it's an obvious upgrade on paper. For my opinion,
Yeah.
Dick's great and all, but like his level dropped off so much that it was really concerning. So like, why is it this bad? And then Hats coming in, we've seen what Hats can do when he's surrounded by on-form players.
Yeah.
When he was in Order, his bum buddy, Sicko, they were a really good duo.
Yeah.
As soon as Sicko left, Hats was kind of left a little bit. And I think that duo might be back. Not sure. See how we go. But I think Hats is that player that, he's great individually, but he's also needs to be surrounded by good players as well.
Yeah, and you've got the three, I guess, recruitees from Order over time that have now slotted into the Renegades. Because it's kind of like they've picked out everyone they need when they've lost or like had players stolen from themselves.
Yeah,
as well.
they've gotten who they could at the time.
Yeah,
and it's just so happened to be things have just perfectly lined up to have this lineup that they have now, which it's a pretty good lineup on paper.
Yeah,
they would have wanted to have this lineup a lot earlier, I think. And In's going to Order. I've talked about this before. He pretty much got cucked by Liaz.
Leaving.
Yeah.
He wanted to play with Liaz, joins Order, Liaz goes off to now 100 Thieves. Feels bad, man. You know?
Yeah.
They all eventually go to Renegades, right?
Well,
all these Order players.
Well, here's
5 new players.
Now you've got Renegades and 100 Thieves. I don't see a world where they pick from each other. Because
that's true.
They're going to be on equal tether, right? I think you're going to get Renegades treatment at Renegades. You're going to get 100 Thieves treatment at 100 Thieves, and they're going to be pretty much equal.
Yeah.
The only difference will be the results. And I think with Renegades getting whatever they're getting, their results should start to go up a little bit. They've been invited to the Leipzig, I think.
Yep. DreamHack.
So that's great for them because the more invites they get, it's obviously purely because they're under the Renegades banner that they've got that opportunity. So the more of that stuff they get, it opens it up for, and if they do well as well, they can't just get this invite and shit the bed. I know it's a new roster and everything, but there's a lot of pressure on them because they're obviously representing the region.
Yeah. But it's also their first chance to have a big boot camp too. I think they went over a little bit early to boot camp and finally
and that's afforded to them by Renegades as well. So this is an opportunity for us to really say, look, we're getting salaries now. We have team houses now. There's no excuse for us to be bad, but we're going to show that we are good because this nation has been had the players and the minds, but not the opportunity. And now everything's coming together. If we flounder now, it's like, that's it for a long time.
Yeah, well, they already have the next international opportunity secured because they did win the Cato quals as well.
Yeah.
So they've got this boot camp, then they'll probably have another
which
boot
we're lucky
camp
to
for
get
that, which is going to be pretty massive.
True.
You know, going and playing Cato.
Because there's that period, there was that period there, like 2017, 18.
Invite only.
Yeah. We were not a great country.
No.
By any means.
Now we're starting to be slightly better than what we were.
The team that we had that was good had 2 imports pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to really lean into it. Renegades looking like towards the end of the year getting to the top 5. Pretty amazing. 100 Thieves. Justin making the top 20.
Top, maybe 15th, I think.
That's massive.
That's a massive achievement for me to be replaced by that guy. So, well done to me.
Every chance.
Got to bring it back.
Yep.
Okay. So, obviously, I wasn't replaced just because he was better, right? So, that's I'm actually very happy for him because this has been a long time in the making.
It's a long road.
He's grown so much as a player to not being so one-dimensional. You know, you look at him now and he's probably the complete package, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I think he's always... I wouldn't call him one-dimensional. He's always been the player that you could depend on in any situation. In that team. In that roster.
Yeah.
He's been the most consistent.
Early days, I felt he, as his opponent, I felt he was one-dimensional. Because he was very solo and very readable. He had this amazing skill.
Wasn't that like 15 years ago though?
Yeah. He had amazing skill, but lacked communication, easy to tilt, yada yada. So you could get past him. He wasn't a unbeatable force in any team.
Yeah.
Particularly like the best roster in Australia, you could still beat him. So knowing everything about him from that day where I used to be able to verse him and beat him to all these years later where I think he is undoubtedly the best thing we've ever had.
Oh, he's without a doubt the best player we've ever produced.
And who knows when he'll...
Across any version of the game.
Who knows when he'll be usurped? I don't actually think he will. Big call. But he is that good now where he doesn't get phased. He has comms. He knows the game in terms of strategic, etc. He's not just a one-dimensional fragger with clutch capacity.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact, last year there was a lapse in his Renegades contract and he was actually being approached by other organisations. So that's probably
Yeah, I
a
knew
year ago.
Yeah.
When I say a year ago, I'm talking like September of
July.
July to September
Yeah.
of 2018.
Right.
Because
Because he comes back.
that was when his
It would have been
worst
after
form.
IEM.
Yeah, it was when his worst form was. And they wasn't too sure. They weren't too sure.
Nifty had just left.
Yeah, NAF had just sort of departed like prior to that as well. So it was sort of like a really hard point for the team in that he was getting offers from other decent rosters at that point in time that were better than...
We're not even talking decent rosters.
That were better than Renegades.
Top 5.
Top rosters. And it was like, do I stay? Do I go? I'm stuck. How do I do this? And as a player, that, mentally, you're sitting there in a team...
Sometimes they ask as well, though, and they've got no intention of picking you up.
But even then, that still messes with you mentally.
Yeah.
Because you could be sitting there and you're in a team...
You have a bad
that's losing.
Yeah.
At that point in time, you will have that thought that I could have been somewhere else right now in another roster, doing better, more money.
Yeah.
Being invited to these competitions. Why am I playing in this qualifier?
Yeah.
We would have been invited. That messes with you mentally. So to see him now, as you said, actually
now the question
getting the accolades.
If that ever happened again, would you stay? I wouldn't.
No, God no.
Yeah. Like if NRG, Liquid, EG, any of those come knocking, I'd go.
Yeah, I look back on any of the teams that I played in, and I think my biggest...
Loyalty was the biggest downfall?
Loyalty was the biggest downfall.
Same.
It's a strength, but also a huge weakness, right?
Yeah.
In that, you want it to be loyal to the cause, you stick with a group of players, and over time, one or two of them get weeded out, and it's like the roster's nothing like it was before.
It's like a can of Coke, all in moderation. Loyalty in moderation.
Well,
I'm not talking go stab everyone in the back after 5 weeks. I'm
talking those 225 ml cans of Coke?
I'm talking, just get the little ones, get the little bottles of Jim, have a couple of those. That's it. Don't buy the full bottle because you stick with the team for 10 years and you get nowhere. You've wasted if you're a good player or in-game leader, you've wasted your opportunity. You stick with the team, you try it out genuinely. If it doesn't work, you've got to know when to hit the road.
Speaking of genuinely, ex-genuine, that pretty much is the opposite of what you're saying.
They're all sticking together.
They've been sticking together for ages, and it's starting to work. What's different about it?
They've beaten rosters that are brand new for a start.
Yeah, okay. You got me there.
So they have been together a very long time, but I still feel like they've reached their max capacity.
I know Daryl Maker has so much more to offer. He just always chokes. He's just never on his A game.
I think the thing is too, there's always that with a roster like that, individually they might have reached their ceiling, but I think as a team,
you will obviously continue to grow, right?
Is going to continue.
I think
to grow,
look at
right?
Immunity. We were together for so long, we didn't change. Our ceiling was high from the start. But what changed was our ability to handle bad situations got better. So we got thicker basically, But
added C's.
Yeah,
as time went
we
on.
were already thick. We just got thicker. But at some point we realized this is our max thickness. 2 C's. We need to change a player. But then you have a tournament and you're good again, and you're like, oh.
Someone dangles that third C in front of you.
But then someone obviously, it's always going to be someone who's going to be like, yeah, we need to change something. But
it's always difficult to overcome that, I guess that.
You can change things in many ways.
The team, right? As soon as one player starts to think it, and then they recruit another player that starts to think it, and all of a sudden, 2 out of 5 of your team are like, something needs to change here.
People always jump to replacing a player. Sometimes you just need to change a
system,
a bomb site. Change someone to the other site. Change the in-game leader just for a bit and see how good you actually had it. Change, anything just for a bit and genuinely give it a shot. Then, if worse comes to worse, change a player. And I think at that point, a player should be willing to leave. You should be able to say, look, does anyone have any other offers? Because we just need to change something.
Well, not even that. It's like, does anyone feel as though their time commitments aren't?
Oh, that's always a thing. That's always a thing. There's always that guy who just gets disenchanted and then starts having the extra day off or, something like that. I think they're easy cuts as well. But that's only because I was never one of those guys that just was like, I'm not coming to practice.
Hey guys, can't come to prac. I'm going to Daft Punk.
Yeah.
I got cut from a team.
That wouldn't happen to me.
I got cut from like the original Atletico roster for that reason.
It's very unfortunate.
It was.
Probably shouldn't have.
It was
gone
very
harder,
fortunate.
better, faster, or stronger.
How much? Yeah, like honestly, you should have been practicing harder, faster, better.
I ended up being better than them anyway.
Yeah,
So that's fine.
well, that's
I had
there's
my
a blessing.
revenge. Every dog has his day. I
Yeah.
beat them a qualifier later.
Yeah.
There you go.
The
So-
A game,
Blessings in
750
disguise,
Rebels
Jim.
actually.
Blessings in disguise.
And then A
Sometimes
games.
getting cut from a team.
It's a rough time.
It is, but obviously with Hats in that Renegades roster, going back to that,
Yeah,
I feel as though it's a fresh start for him.
it's a fresh start for the whole team, to be honest.
So I think he's always a player for me that is very much about mindset. If he's in the game early, he's doing well, it continues to
JW,
flow through.
Just
Yeah,
like JW.
correct.
Yeah.
correct.
But if he has a slow start, then it's rough.
But I think that's a team though, that particular team have a good mentality within the core of that Renegades
I
lineup.
think Josh brings that.
There's
I
some
think
belief.
Inns definitely brings a good mentality.
Yep.
And the others, I mean, they're all fairly chill, I guess, even outside of the game. And you sit behind them when they play, and they really don't let their emotions get the better of them.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
team.
and Hats would do well to learn from that as well.
Yeah.
A very emotional player.
Correct. If that's what I was referring to in that. If he gets off to a good start, great. He always would have, in my opinion, have some difficulty getting to a level that we know he's capable of.
Yeah.
If he has a rough start.
Well, did you see the announcement video with the hats
Yeah.
that they did?
Yep.
I didn't think that was one of their greatest. I liked the attempt at creativity, but I feel like they could have done something.
Are we going to be that podcast that
Talk about content again.
that cuts down other people's hard work and content when they're trying their hardest, Mac? Yes, we are. It was shit content.
I loved it. I was surprised they had so many hats in the house.
The
That
Get
was the
Right
most
one,
impressive
the
part.
box, I hope it's Get Right and it's Ins. It was good.
It was good. Yeah.
This one?
It's downhill from that
Look,
one.
it's always hard to make continually better content
We make it look easy. You know?
until we found someone with a latex allergy.
Yeah. Obviously,
Then it all went downhill.
they lasted one.
Um,
They were on trial for one scrim.
obviously, that has a flow-on effect. In that hats had to come from somewhere. That somewhere was order. So order, it's I don't know, Ian, if you've got a message waiting on your phone, but apparently the band's getting back together
Oh, yeah.
at order.
It's pretty crazy to see. It's pretty crazy to see that knowing the history and how their previous roster fell apart. To see three of them back together.
So just for
three,
clarification, that is
Ustillo
Ustillo
and Emag.
and EMAG, core three of an immunity roster.
Yeah.
That one of the immunity
of
iterations.
the best iteration of immunity, yeah.
Which is missing out on you Ian?
Me and James.
and I am James.
Yeah, every other iteration sucked.
Okay. There you go. What, you shouting out to Moe again or what?
I wish I had Moe in that lineup.
With who'd be lost
Moe.
for Moe?
Moe is in the roster when he
James,
wasn't.
sorry.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
so
yeah.
and even
I got replaced for Zusi, who we'll talk about later. And then Ustillo got picked for Renegades. Just pretty much in that order. And then Ricky got picked for Renegades.
so it's chewed up and spat out.
We made Ustillo look good, to be honest.
You're right.
So it's
He
fair enough.
needs someone to throw the flash for him.
I don't think anyone gave a shit about Ustillo except
Besides, Cobble's out of the rotation now.
for me. And then I picked him up, and he was a real important chess piece for us. So,
He was always a very hyper aggressive player,
yep.
particularly on T side.
But I could just
Surprisingly on
I
CC.
could say, Carlo, I know your feet stink, but get in there and do this job and make it look like we're all there, and he'll do it.
Yep.
And not many people I could trust with that job.
Yeah, and he got it done. Obviously, you guys had some great successes.
We had good systems.
Yep.
Good systems.
Yeah, but now all three of them back together at order. We've seen them already in action with the Katowice qualifiers. Probably a little bit disappointing for a roster of that caliber.
Especially with Ali going off the way that he was.
Yeah, that man has been dropping some serious numbers.
So it is a early days. Not even going to bother passing any judgment.
Well,
on
it's
that.
not a pickup at the moment. It's just
It's just a
he's
trial.
filling
It's a
in.
loan.
It's a loan trial, filling in, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
wink,
He's not
wink, wink.
on the roster.
They're just
so-
playing some covers right
I
now.
don't understand why
No originals.
they wouldn't trust the old lineup. I don't know why they wouldn't trust that.
Are you just waiting for your call up?
No.
No.
I
He's
wouldn't go.
actively
He's scrunched up his
screening.
face.
I'm
Oh no,
so-
we
I'm
know
so
that
out.
Jake's going to be listening to this. Jake, you know who to call. all
He's
right?
actively screening his calls right now for potential.
All I'm saying is I just made FPL. Almost came top 3.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Get
you
me
think it's you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no,
Mac would
not
make
you,
a good
me.
coach for Order. Already has all their gear.
Just
He's already
turn up.
got the uniform already.
Take Nathan's spot
Yeah,
up
look,
on the stage.
I would never play again. People underestimate how hard it is to be good at this game. People underestimate the work that goes in. Like, it's unreal.
We'll actually get onto that a little bit later
Yeah.
because it was
If we're going to
probably
talk about
we're going to talk about it. Because the other roster change I wanted to talk about, because obviously, as we said, Ricky is the big talking point for Order. They didn't perform at the level they wanted to. I think in the Katowice qualifiers, safe to say, genuine surprise package or ex-genuine surprise package. Now known as Team.
Team.
I'm
Yep.
on Team.
I mean, how hard is it really? Just get a temporary bloody name.
Speaking of names, how about Humongous, mate? Oh, what a name change.
That was great because
it
he's
ac-
finally heeded some
It's not legit,
advice.
is it?
He did it as a joke, but I feel like he has to keep it. It was just so great. Old mate Mitchman, who was casting on the main channel, was trying to call him Stat, and I was like, mate, give in. It's Humongous. You've
He's
just gotta
Irish,
go
isn't
with
he?
it. Yeah. Did you like him?
Surely Humongous was.
You can't be a good player with a name
great
like
cog.
Humongous. I'm sorry. There's a good name to in-game ability ratio, like the crazy sexy ratio. You can't be a good player with a
Did
name
you see
like
those
Humongous.
spray transfers? That's all the name change.
No.
Yeah,
Stat
yeah.
has always been that good.
Okay.
He's getting better, but he was actually, even in Legacy, you could say he was one of the stars.
The performers.
Yeah.
And obviously, the other big shake-up was the fact that at some point there was a decision made that there were too many chiefs,
Apparently.
Not enough Indians.
as the saying goes. But too many chiefs, and now there's not enough chiefs.
Yep.
So Blitz and Ofnu obviously departing that roster and moving.
Still unannounced, by the way.
Yeah, don't
Chiefs
worry.
haven't-
From a
don't
Chiefs
worry
perspective.
about
Chiefs
that.
haven't officially announced anything,
Avant.
so...
Well,
Welcome to OCE Esports.
it was
Yeah.
announced when Icon and Chiefs, gave players on loan.
Look,
despite
it
them
was a
being the
VAC
same
roster.
organisation.
Let's not beat around the bush.
It's difficult to motivate players to play on that roster.
VAC coach,
Yep,
Two
they
VAC
tripled down.
2 VAC players.
Yep.
So with the new rules coming out and the fear of no opportunities, you're gonna ditch. I mean, players like Ofnu and Blitz. I mean, Blitz in particular, they deserve to play non-VAC tournaments. And Ofnu, well, the jury's out on that one for now, but that was unfair to have Blitz in Chiefs and hopefully obviously, and I knew it would happen. He's proven his worth in Chiefs. He's got his call up to a top tier team and org after Legacy, so it's only up for him, I think.
Yeah, he's been, I guess, taking a slower, more steady path.
Well, it's
to,
a shit time to try and be a star because
Yeah.
we've just got so many. We've got 100 Thieves. We've got with 4 Aussies or something. We've got
Grat's not. Aussie,
you know what I
but
mean,
yeah.
dog. You got Greyhounds with 5 Aussies.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, dog.
yeah. Okay.
And now we've also got these other homegrown teams like Order with 5 Aussies.
Sicko's now Aussie.
Yeah. You're picking up what I'm putting
Yeah,
down. So it's a shit time to be a star AWPer for a start. We're flooded with them. We've gone through.
He's not even Kiwi. That's
It's
the
like
best part.
it's like the economy. It goes through ups and downs.
If you want to be a star opera in this region, you've got to be Kiwi for starters.
yeah, absolutely.
That's why I went
So-
over there on my little holiday.
I
was like, do I fit in
foresaw
here?
this.
No.
I foresaw this, and I used to challenge Ricky to the Orb duel, but I decided against Orping because I knew it wouldn't be in
If I
demand.
ever warped against Rick, I knew it was him because he'd always do this thing where like he'd try and poke his little fishing rod
Yeah, yeah.
with his orb and try and like flick it out and
Yeah.
try and bait the shot from you.
That was the
So
meta
he's-
back then.
Yeah.
Then I just started strafing out first. That was
The widest peak of all.
80 ping. Hit me if you can.
But
Play to your strengths.
so obviously, with both of them moving to Avant, and surprising for me, well, probably not surprising for some, was the players that had to make way.
Yeah. Well, you have to replace your RGL with another RGL, or it could get to a too many cooks in the kitchen situation.
Well, who is IGL
You
now
don't
in that
actually
roster?
have to.
Because both Ofnu and Blitz had stints of being an IGL, and obviously APOC is, he can do it all.
Let's just assume that it's Ofnu that's come in as the IGL. I'll have a
Yeah, you know what
chat to
happens
Blitz.
if you make assumptions.
Yeah, then you're probably wrong, but I'm happy to be wrong.
That was
So,
my
look,
question with that roster.
My theory is the teams actually can't have enough RGLs.
Yeah.
Well, look at us.
Yeah.
Look at our little land stint. We had 3 IGLs.
Speaking of hats,
Top Gun and Sean.
Speaking of hats, hope you're listening, mate.
that
FBI
was
Land Center.
Easiest game of our lives.
Yeah. He was even using the OP org against
Yeah.
us, but we refused to use it.
Yeah. We refused to even learn smoke.
That's over a year ago now.
Forget it.
So
Last decade.
you're grabbing onto
So
I don't know if you.
some big things.
So
I don't know if
look,
you've
sorry
I
to make you
noticed the
both so
theme.
disappointed here, but
I don't think Jira, whatever.
Jira.
Had to leave. I don't think he had to leave.
He's benched. Sorry, officially, he's
Yeah.
benched.
oh, is he? Okay, so he's still there.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Look, Soju. It's a tough spot for him because he obviously moved to Australia to play. Moved away from New Zealand.
The big gamble.
Big gamble, but
Yeah.
Avant was handing out dollar bills, team salary.
Holla.
But now he's stuck. I don't know what he's going to do, where he's going to end up.
Well,
But
he's getting trials with multiple teams.
he's a good player. He's probably developed a lot since I worked with him, but comms and stage presence were probably an issue if I was to criticize. But he listened.
Yeah.
So it's like not everyone can do that.
It's true.
And he's very hardworking as well. So, but he has a ways to go in terms of his own development. So it could make sense to me that he's cut from a team that has Ofnu Blitz APOC. Yeah. Jira, I'm guessing some external factor there because I think his in-game leading was okay. You could see very big flaws in some maps, like Dust 2 mid was just a joke. And so I can understand the moving him out and having someone else IGL, but there's got to be something else there. There's got to be more there because
I have a feeling that
they had such great achievements.
I have a feeling that they couldn't contact him for a while because I think that the place he was at over Chrissy, which is where he used to live, was like smack south, like getting very close to all that bushfire
Yeah, I was
situation.
actually, now that you mention it, yeah, I remember when they attended the major, he drove a couple of hours up and actually
Left his car
left
at
his
our
car
house.
at our place before they went to the major.
Well, that would be a
was from
shit
down
way to
south
go.
New South Wales.
That'd be a shit way to go.
Yeah,
If you couldn't play very much because of that.
I'll have to fact check that one, but I remember him saying, "Cool, finally got out of there" or whatever on Twitter. Did a big tweet.
So I hope he sticks around, like, because it's easy.
He's not. I'm fucking waiting for him. Do you know how
I'm glad
long
we
I've
put
been going to the
compression on.
gym
Yeah.
on my own? And
Oh,
Nick's
was-
not back. He's gone on holiday with his family. Good on him.
I didn't know you were still going to the gym. I haven't seen anything on Twitter.
I put up last tweet, except the one from today was about the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've just tangented
Anyway.
so hard.
Anyway, no, I just want.
So
I miss Nick. That's where I'm going with that.
I think
anyway.
he's got a ways to go, Jira, for his development. I think Avant was good to actually showcase what he can do.
Well, now he's got international experience.
international experience. They didn't have the best lineup in the world. And if you can do what he did with that lineup, I think he could
in a short
probably
space of time.
he could probably make something happen with a decent roster.
Yeah, because
But
got
good
to
luck.
remember too, when they qualified for the major, they'd only been together like a month,
Yeah, it was
if that.
Some people were.
Like by the time they got to the major, that is.
That was a fluke.
So like that was a tough stitch to be put in, but a good experience for him.
Yeah.
I think the thing that surprises me right now is the caliber of player that is currently teamless.
Yeah.
In
there's
OC.
a couple.
Well, I think you're going to touch on this later, Jim. But what's the point of playing right now?
Well, right now, like
What's the
it's
point
funny
of
'cause
even making a pug team? You know.
yesterday I was. I say yesterday. I don't really want to carbon date this, but
Recently.
recently
There you go.
I was talking about just. And it was a simple tweet from Conky, basically saying that.
Sounds like cocky.
Yeah. I thought you were going to laugh at the fact that, like, oh, which one? But it was a simple tweet, and it was basically that, there was a whole heap of players sort of sitting on the sidelines right now, even right through, not just at top level, but also in the mid-tier and below. A lot of players are sort of, making that choice that either they play, they grind. Right now, there's MDL being played out. I think that's the only thing currently running now in terms of OCCS. And even then, there's not really a clear path because it's open league at the moment. That's basically running.
Yeah.
They've just restructured ESEA as well, and I don't even know how clear that is.
It's pretty murky.
It's pretty
I had no
murky
idea how it was working. The way I understand it was, there's now 2 slots to go to EPL finals, which I believe is the top 2 from MDL at the global challenge.
At the global challenge, but you still got to get to global challenge.
Still got to get through a lot.
So
it doesn't matter because the global challenge is still a fantastic experience. So if there's an upset, great experience. If it ends up being Renegades and Order, which I actually would prefer that, then we have 2 good teams that have a crack shot with international experience.
Yeah. But the point that obviously was made from this, and my point to the tweet that a lot of players were taking a backward step in, like, basically the dedication levels, or whether it was like prac regimes or even just joining a team. A lot of players holding off on that, but
well, you can also place your bets on Avant falling to pieces and hold out for that.
Oh yeah, I had to laugh. I had to laugh at Apoc's tweet, like LFT in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah,
after the announcement,
that's foreboding.
Yeah, that was a good piece of comedy, but we're waiting to see how that ages.
He should schedule that every 3 months.
Yeah. But basically, the point that I went in with on this discussion was the fact that players at the moment, there's no clear goal in sight for them across any of the leagues.
Yep.
Like ESL have yet to announce
they don't
any
tell you
AU and Z plans.
There's no IEM.
It's not IEM, but even then, like last year, things changed with what AU and Z meant. There was then also a separate Sydney Showdown that was also offering a spot up to an IEM. There was a lot of different things going on.
Fortnite taking over AO.
It made the roadmap look a little bit weird in that, like, what are we playing for? What are we playing in what?
What invites are we getting? What qualifiers are we getting? Because that's a question as well.
Yeah, and my biggest criticism, and this is not a criticism, obviously, of anything that ESL did, but my biggest criticism was the fact that, like, there was no roadmap. And I'm pointing fingers mainly at, like, your grassroots stuff, like your LPLs, formerly CG, of not having a clear pathway or plan or year announcement.
The thing is, I'm sure they have that plan.
Oh, internally,
but it's held too close to their chests, so no one can say, "Oh, there's this tournament. Let's make a team and we'll play in it in 3 months." So the tournament gets announced with a month notice, and people make teams.
Yep.
It's like if you could just say, "Guys, here's what we've got. We've gone to sponsors, we've got money, whatever investment. This is the plan for this year. So get cracking because we have 3 qualifiers this year, 1 every quarter with a gap in between for August or something."
The thing that I was going to touch on was the fact that none of this stuff had been announced. So right now, the timing of the tweet was sort of obviously indicative of the time of year as well, though. But, like, there's nothing running. So, like, no players right now have anything to play for. It's not actually, in some instances, it's not actually the fault of the TOs that they have not announced anything just yet because this is only the start of the year. However, in my opinion, it is best practice to do that. Reason being, you've obviously got the players on board. They're going to want to play. They know what they're playing for in the year, where it leads, what is going on. Obviously, if there's some things still up in the air, leave some TBAs in there. That's fine.
Yeah, 100%.
It's okay to go out with.
But the thing is, if you promise to deliver something, people are to feel afraid that they can't deliver.
That's true.
So,
but from the other point that I'm going to make, and this is coming in from an org perspective, is that a lot of the organisations now are starting to move to calendar year sponsorships. They talk to 2020. We're going to sign with X sponsor, and they're going to be on for all our 2020 stuff. Okay, cool. What are we doing in 2020, guys? Well, League of Legends are doing this. PUBG is what the hell's happening there.
Not sure about PUBG.
Counter-Strike, what are we playing in?
We're casting Rocket League from here, right? RLCS.
Totally, dude.
I saw you.
Well, no one knows what was happening with Rocket League.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, if you're an org right now and you're going to sponsors and you're like, okay, our Counter-Strike team is just happening this year. We don't know what they're playing in yet. We don't know what that means. We don't know what viewership. We don't know anything about what the fuck's happening with our Counter-Strike team this year. So, we're just selling to a sponsor that we have a Counter-Strike team. What they play in, what they do, I don't know. We're probably going to have to keep going back to them for more money because, well, like they're not going to give us too much initially, but now all of a sudden we've got 3 or 4 competitions that have been announced after we've secured the deal, and that's just not good business. To continually have to go back to a sponsor. It's fine once or twice to go back and ask, hey, we want to really participate in this. This is an additional
It would be good
an additional spend.
If you could say at the start of the year,
It'd be great.
these are the tournaments we want to attend. This is
Upfront.
how much it's going to cost. And then there's no surprises for the sponsor.
Precisely. So if you are sitting back and wondering how this works and why there are less now sometimes orgs in the top level of certain games, and I'm looking at contenders and I've just seen the 2 biggest orgs pull out of contenders, which is Legacy and Order.
Yeah.
And Order were winning shit in contenders. They're pulling out of some of the bigger games that they're successful in. It's tough out there for an org right now to justify cost on anything, let alone the fact if you can't tell them what is happening with any of your events that year. So the fact that a lot of this stuff is yet to be announced, and now it's sort of the end of January, and I've given people an excuse over Christmas and whatnot, but the fact that nothing had come out was a little bit concerning. Now, funnily enough, it was pretty much almost immediately afterwards that conversation taken place. LPL came out with a bunch of announcements, but I think that's purely just down to the fact that, again, that's the time of year that you announce. So it is very difficult for teams and organizations in advance now to get any sort of sponsorship based on their year's activities until February, until almost the first quarter of the year is over. So I think having that's only from an org perspective. If the players don't know what's going on, then I don't even know. Now I know in previous seasons LPL has done a roadmap, but I could not tell you what is going on with their X amount of divisions.
Yeah, well,
they're the grassroots right now. Let's be real.
what's going on
They've
with
got all the
LPL
grassroots
in general? Because it looks like they did a call out for casters as well. It's
New Zealand based.
Yeah, anyone who's New Zealand based come in and I don't know whatever it was.
Come in and you just guaranteed.
Yeah, with Yummy as the front man in a lot of the bits on that video, and I was like, oh Yummy, look at him go, get in there, David. But yeah, I think there's actually a question for the mailbag, which relates to that.
But to be honest, if I see another broadcast that goes out with like basic default Arial fonts from LPL, I'm just going to scream internally.
Yeah.
While I know they've got the tech, I know they've got people coming up in those positions to polish that broadcast, but please just do it some justice with font packs.
I swear, all you really need to do, right, is just reach out and just pay an upcoming graphic designer like a decent amount. And they'll
anyone
just
with
throw
eyes,
your
really?
pack. anyone with eyes, all right, go and try and find someone with 2 eyes.
Just an
Matty B's
eye
out.
for detail and not have default fonts on things. But in all seriousness, though, from like a player's perspective, I'm speaking about Counter-Strike right now. PUBG is a whole different matter. But from a Counter-Strike perspective right now, a lot of the players, they can't see the goal. What's the 2020 goal? We don't know.
Well, with all the
Want to win an AE
Pro
when
Tour
is it even on? Don't know.
stuff, I have an idea of when it is on. I don't know if I can say, but I know that something's coming.
NDA. So if you're thinking about
I haven't
it, Matt,
signed the NDA yet. I'm just not.
Well, then you're good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying anything.
exactly.
As a courtesy.
Then you are what?
What?
You haven't signed anything,
So?
so you don't need to not say anything out of courtesy. Drop it like it's hot, Mac. Engagement.
engagement. Right. Well,
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I
Do you
just
even watching it?
there'll be CS on. There'll be CS on shortly. You know.
Let me see it. Oh, look,
And
let's.
the thing is as
Wow.
well now the
Nesferatu here.
the domestic leagues like the AU and Z, the ones overseas and stuff, they'll have slots into they'll have like here now last year, right? AU and
something
Z,
to play for.
Yeah, AU and Z first season last year had Greyhound in it because there was the IM Sydney slot, right? As far as I'm aware, the next couple of AU and Z seasons will both have a chance to play for something bigger.
For something big.
Rather than just a domestic league with just a dead road at the end of it.
That's fine. But the flow-on effect from that being visible externally is now players at the moment. There's a lull.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's a massive lull and it's all hyped up at the moment, not sure. But the reason that a lot of the players right now are just there's no motivation to do anything, to grind, to whatever it is because literally the first announcements are only just starting to hit. So I think, the one thing, and this is where I will praise DreamHack, is the fact that they had their year calendar out.
Yeah, straight away.
Straight away. You know that there's an event per month, which city it's in.
Yep.
Whether or not the dates are there, they can shift those around a little bit.
What I wonder is, with that knowledge, if you're
qualifiers
able
are coming.
to contact DreamHack from outside of those countries and say, hey, we want to come.
We want to come to Leipzig. We want
Yeah.
to come to Anaheim, whatever.
Yeah. I wonder if that's an option.
Wouldn't hurt.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just using
Because
your
I think
networking
Australian
skills to get to
teams,
places.
well, Aussie teams just need to become
A mainstay.
European mindset of it's not that far. Because we're only holding ourselves back if we do that, right? Europeans can go to any tournament they want if they can get permission from DreamHack to come because it's an hour's flight or something like that from anywhere, If we could just get that mindset of who cares how far away it is, who cares how expensive it is, it's planned. It's a downside of being in this region, but you can't really let that stop you. I know I'm a pie in the sky being a dreamer,
Yeah.
but wouldn't it be worth the shot,
Oh, look, I'm not disagreeing.
Look at Fours. They've been to so many tournaments lately.
And they've been in the finals.
Yeah, they're actually crack hot. I remember they were my prediction for the major, the dark horse.
The Dark Horse.
But
Well, it's pretty funny
they
because
did half good.
I think, I may have already mentioned this, but I was penciled in to do some stuff with like a blast stream.
Yeah.
And they were in the qualifier, and I was scheduled to be qualified or to be
You got
casting
their game.
Vitality versus Fours, which
Ended
was
up being the grand
qualifier. And then I can't remember who pulled out. Someone pulled out. And then basically those two teams were automatically entered in because instead of being one slot, there was two.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the grand final.
Well, Vitality Fours must have been a shitter in their group, right?
Well,
Cloud9?
um,
No, it wouldn't have been
no,
them,
someone
right?
else.
Yeah.
It was someone else.
Yeah, I can't remember the whole roster of that tourney.
Yeah, but it was Blast Moscow. And
Yeah, I remember it.
then
Because it was all because of Dweg, wasn't it?
Dweggy boy, yeah.
yeah, they wanted an Australian stream with stuff, but I had a great time slot as well. I was Devo. But yeah, point being is they've taken that leap. They're now a team that's breaking into like that regular tier 2.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, no.
can push tier 1.
I think they can push tier 1.
Mm.
Let's see how they go at the start of this year, if they can carry it over.
Well,
Yeah.
see how it goes anyway, because, there's the whole changes to the major system now too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
if you guys haven't seen the news,
I was going to just to round out that point.
yeah.
In that we're sort of, trying to navigate this space, players, organizations, whoever, trying to navigate this space without a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And
Without
it's-
what?
Without a Refidex in.
I wanted
The
to give
UBD.
Yeah, the UBD.
No one even knows what that is nowadays because everyone's got a GPS in their phone.
Well,
But the point is that this is, when we talked about it on one of our first episodes, was Grassroots and like the importance of managing Grassroots. This is like Grassroots 101.
Mm-hmm.
It's been probably mishandled in previous years,
And I mean, I haven't.
and we're now starting to see the effects.
Yeah.
We can go back to what we were talking about with the big the clash with Zowie and ESL and everything that was going on there. It comes back here as well. Like, why didn't they just space it out or put one of those events on over here? It would have been nicer. And also, like, with the calendar that was there, apparently the calendar was shared to everyone. Everyone has access to this calendar.
Calendar's fine, but I'm talking in terms of like at the start of the year, just mapping out what does season 1 mean? Does it play into season 2, season 3? Like, I'm talking.
I think there is a small
LPL.
From a TO point of view. It's like shooting the messenger, small. Like we don't want to get people's hopes up because they don't even have their hopes up. Like not everything is guaranteed. Not everything is locked in.
That's true.
So from a TO perspective, like if there was someone here from a TO, they would sit here and be like, well, to be honest, that stuff is planned, and we've probably sent emails about it. But that's as far as it's got because no one's hired for that yet. And so you don't, maybe that also, number one most important thing, venue. They probably don't have the venue locked at all yet. And that might dictate a lot. And then you have investment from sponsors or something like that. So it is another pie in the sky thing. Would be great to have. Because I'm just thinking about, we talk about Grassroots. We talk about InstaFrag. Well, we haven't even organised anything yet. But we want something.
Yeah.
So, but we can't roadmap something that we haven't organised.
No, correct. But I'm talking about people who've already run competitions in previous seasons.
So I think DreamHack, they've got everything locked in, right? They have the venue locked in from last year. So they're running smart. I think everyone else just needs to get on that level. If you're not on that level right now, that's where you need to be aspiring
That's
to.
where,
So that at the start of the year, you can say, we're LPL, this is what we've got this year for you. Because I know CG used to do it. CG used to go, we have 3 seasons this year. We will have Pro, Main, I, and we'll review that later in the year. But that's what we have.
Yeah, but and this is where it gets murky, is that is changed so many times within the same year that, like, if they just stuck to that roadmap and they had, all right, we're just going to stick it out for this year, the promos and relegations and things like that, every time they'd ever come up, always seemed to be different. Obviously, teams die and move out and whatnot, and blah, 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 blah. There's a level of give.
Just because of having different admins, because people would always complain, so they'd try to change it, and then you'd have a different admin on, especially once it got to, like, after.
I mean, it's an unforgiving job to be an admin. I mean, you can just see how much shit Tyson gets. It's a passion bin.
Well, exactly. I put it in the place where if you're not getting any comments, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing a good job.
What do they say? Silence is
good news. Is golden.
Silence is golden.
But, like, if you're not receiving complaints and whatnot, then you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, the feedback that you're getting is the fact that nobody's giving you feedback.
Yeah. So something's going right.
So obviously this is very Counter-Strike heavy right now. But
there's been a lot of Counter-Strike news.
If
we planned this better, we could have, separated it out. But
well, I think the issue is it's all happened within a certain time span. So
if we talked about it next episode, it would be
another week.
Yeah.
Out.
There's probably a whole lot of crap that's going to happen this week we don't know about.
Well, there's a whole heap of things too that obviously across some other games I wanted to talk about too. Like, I just wanted to get that part out while it was still a little bit relevant, and like while everyone was sort of not, potentially hitting the panic button about the low level of players wanting to play right now.
Well, the good news
is it's not the case that it's panic stations. No, it's the case that there's nothing to play for yet.
So it's like we've got to touch on this because also you're never going to get all the facts from Twitter.
No,
you know what I mean. So you might know a little bit here and there, but this is where you'll hear the truth, I guess, because we've been through it.
Yeah.
So
well, it's this is what the moon is now in its 30th cycle. It feels for some of us, but like this is not the first time this has happened. Not going to be the way things are going. It's probably going to happen again next year.
Yeah.
But I would like to see some changes made because I feel as though some clarity around those things
Yeah.
will help ease some of the nervousness around
Being a player.
being a player,
Yeah.
being an organisation.
Because this is when you make your plans for the year as well. University, employment, everything.
But also being a pundit on the scene and just sitting here and not pressing the panic button because you know that these things are coming
Just
up
imagine,
and this is just a lull.
Okay, so see the world as it is now, where sponsors don't know much about Counter-Strike. They don't know much about esports in general, but they're trying.
Yeah.
How are we giving them any faith that there's something going on or that the scene exists right now? Right?
Exactly, because every other traditional sport, there's a guaranteed league running between
it.
these dates.
They're just kicking it, right? They don't need to say like, oh yeah, this is the league that happens every year, blah blah blah. It's there. The proof is there that it's happened every year. In esports, I don't think that's something you can do. You can't say like we've had it this time, this date, every year in this location. Like it just doesn't happen. So there's nothing really to give them any faith, and I think it's going to make it very hard for anyone to invest in the scene until in like 10 years where we've got all these ex-esports people that are now trained properly in business, running business or having investments because of paybacks made a heap of money on Bitcoin. Then, until that person has the faith, then we need to be doing something as a space to give that level of, trust in the investment.
Exactly. It all just comes down to, it doesn't have to be that you execute that roadmap perfectly. Because if you don't, then right there, that's your learnings.
Yeah.
You can take that away. It's like, we tried to do this, we couldn't do this. Why? Here's the reasons. But if you go out and you don't have anything external to show, you might have a roadmap internally. That's all well and good. But you're not instilling any faith in anyone that cannot see that roadmap.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
Which is
probably
everyone but the person in charge.
correct.
So.
Correct. But it's like, nobody's going to be able to predict what happens but you. And it doesn't have a good flow-on effect for the community. It clearly hasn't. This is where I believe Grassroots has been mismanaged. I know one of the LPL admins said something to me on Twitter about it, that they had done it in previous years, but there was a reason for it. I haven't done him justice by... so much crap I've been tagged in today.
Yeah, there was that little fright when I opened it up and I was like, 20 notifications. What crime have I committed this week? And then I realized it was the tweet that I made.
It was just Sean hitting TJ and people loving it.
To be fair, LPL did release, and this was Jaws, one of the admins of LPL. So to be fair, LPL did release a roadmap last year, and we intend to this year, again this year. And CG released roadmaps every year before that. But the thing is, despite a promise of something awesome later, some teams and players just don't care enough to grind until then. I know that might be what you feel the sentiment is, but believe me, if you are not releasing that roadmap, then you are guaranteed getting no buy-in from any of these teams because their sponsors are not buying into it. Because they can't go on and try and sell that to
not
a
even
sponsor.
teams, not even sponsors.
Think
Think about the kid at school. Like, think about those kids playing Counter-Strike in matchmaking. Like, there's no pathway for them at all. Like, I remember seeing a Reddit post the other day, how do I play in these tournaments? Mate, you obviously don't understand that these tournaments are
You're in the wrong spot.
They're for professionals. This isn't just like, people somehow must think that they just let anyone play in these tournaments.
Yeah. These
are for seasoned veterans who have spent thousands of hours. Anyway, so you've got to have some idea of, if you could just say, this is what we're doing this year for Amateur League.
Try and execute on
something. Get people interested. Get people talking about it. Because it's the only way you're ever going to get it's like having a business and then not telling anyone about it. How's it going to make money?
Yeah. Like...
No word of mouth, no customers.
You need good marketing.
Yeah.
You need good
just
marketing.
Shooting themselves in
It's
the
the
foot.
same with events.
And then to blame the customer? Never heard that. Customer's always wrong. My guy, come on, work it out.
I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
That one for the moment, because I think we could just go on. I think it's safe to say that...
I don't want to flog a dead horse here. That's not what we're here for.
No, but we could talk about it for ages too, because I think it's safe to say that we're pretty passionate about this topic, because it's the future, it's the player base, it's the guys grinding out in amateur, or open right now are potentially guys to look to in the future. And if they're not coming
If there's
in,
no money in the scene, if there's no good teams to join, then there's no point grinding through amateur.
exactly. But it's not a dire situation. I think it's just the fact that some of the farms need to be calmed a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
In that sense.
We have 4 great teams. Like,
Yeah.
Well, if we have 4 great
Four
teams.
strong teams. And I think I saw it today that, steel sharpens steel, right? Like when they're going to be playing against each other, they're going to be learning a lot from each other, about each other.
Yep.
The level of play overall is going to
Looks like we're going to
go
have like the best
much
DE
higher.
train in the Southern Hemisphere.
True.
At this point.
Yeah. So
Maybe even overpass.
and then you got to factor in the issues Ty Lue is having. Like now's a good time to be Aussie or a Kiwi.
Or just Aussie.
Yeah.
Or just
or
from
be
this area.
be a Kiwi that has 4 Aussie friends.
All right. This has been a super heavy Counter-Strike
Get
podcast
real.
thus far. But I just want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor in Skrilla, who have been awesome. They're back on board with us again, continually supporting us. I say back on board. They were always on board with us.
Yeah.
And have been supporting us almost since day dot, which is awesome. Australian esports betting website and the first of its kind as well. And they're doing some cool stuff this year, so make sure you stay tuned to that. They're yet to announce it. I know what's going on, but I can't announce it yet, so I'm going to let them
Are you
actually
under
announce it.
NDA, James?
No, I'm not, but I'm not going to steal their thunder because it's their marketing that's going to be able to announce that. But they've done a great job in supporting us and helping enable us to continue with this content, but also more importantly, reinvest in the content as well. So I think we're going to be doing a little bit more of
very grateful for that.
getting out to it. Yeah, we're 100% very grateful. We got some equipment, like new microphones, new recorders, things like that.
Yeah.
Going to get out to some events, and it's going to help us create some more content through the podcast, but also some other avenues as well. We're very, very thankful to have those guys on board. So, season 2, woohoo! We've got to work on a jingle, boys. By the way,
Season 2, woohoo.
season 2.
Not happy with that one?
I reckon. Can you radio that up a little bit? Season 2, woohoo!
Didn't you just do it for me?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
I'll cop that one.
we'll throw that one into
I'll clip that and just put it at the start of every episode.
yeah. What's it? Adobe Audition, the cloud software.
Yeah.
We're getting Cubase actually.
Season 2. Just start the show with that, please. Old jingle gone. Yeah.
Season 2.
Come in and see the good guys.
I feel like that one may be taken.
Nah, they don't use it anymore because they don't pay cash or give you a discount.
Yeah,
thought
but
they
I'm just
still
thinking
did
just
that.
in general.
They still do that.
Well, it's not even their song. They
Good
stole that too.
vibrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I feel like that's a lawsuit. But
Yeah, that one's bad waiting to happen. Now
Okay. Because I'm afraid of the law. You don't know me.
hey, this goes on Spotify, mate. All right, that's where we could be in Apple Music. We could be in trouble on that one. But I think we're going to touch on just some other esports news that has happened. Obviously, myself being involved with some Starcraft recently, big buzz around the fact that ESL have announced their Pro Tour for Starcraft, which entails a 3-year commitment to Starcraft 2 for all.
Were they afraid everyone was
ESL
going to
Pro
go
Tour
back
events.
to StarCraft 1 or something?
Well, it's just the fact that the main run competition, the WCS, was no longer running in 2020. Everyone was sort of, what do we play for? Now this has been announced, 3 years guaranteed, a Pro Tour event.
That's good because
Similar
StarCraft
to-
is like a real esport. So
It is, and it's one of those, like the
None of this-
StarCraft series.
one of the originals.
It helped birth
it's
esports.
the original. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like not an airy-fairy esport like this Fortnite.
No, it's not come and go sort of stuff either. Like
Yeah.
StarCraft has been a mainstay. RTS, it sort of really put RTS in the spotlight, but also helped, as I said, birth esports. Korea is mad about it. They've
National
always
sport.
been. So it's good to see that there's a big commitment there, and that's all tying in with the ESL Pro Tour model of having multiple.
How
events
weird
a
would it be
year.
if now that ESL do this, all these Western orgs start getting into StarCraft 2 again?
Well, I don't know what's in store for Australia because obviously spending a little bit of time with
Do
the
we even have a pro?
Well, we do have a few guys that can compete.
Your gig. Well,
one was Probe, and he actually couldn't attend the final. But there's a few guys that are at a very good level.
Yeah, right.
As well.
Because talk about thankless esport, that's one of them.
It is 100%.
People are like, Counter-Strike players think you're paid enough. Starcraft 2 players literally play for fun.
They get paid with carpal tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys are all macro, all micro. It's ridiculous. I obviously sitting in the same room, same house as guys. They play non-stop.
Have you seen?
It is honestly
the whole keyboard is on fire.
Yeah. So when keyboard companies market how many keystrokes a certain key can be pressed, it is purely aimed at like RTS and Starcraft players, because those guys guaranteed will get the life cycle out of their keyboard and push it every time.
It's
crazy.
Just
constant.
Just imagine what they can do with like their desktop icons.
There was a guy in the Auscraft competition, Vindictor. He had an APM that averaged over 600.
Do you remember that guy, 300 APM? That was his name. And people were like, whoa, 300 APM.
Yeah. But
times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
APM was sitting at about 600 average.
Some of them are a little OCD though.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
To be honest, I think he was multiple clicking on the same thing a few times and not quite getting his grouping right, maybe. But it's also a nervous thing.
Once
as well.
they set up their hotkeys, some of them are just like a habit, like a pattern.
Yeah.
And they just will. It's like Counter-Strike players.
Control groups.
The Q key and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you get to that level, everything's built off patterns. And some of them are just doing that like needlessly.
Anyway, point being, this guy literally with his mouse, they had a show match, and one player was keyboard, one player was mouse.
Ugh.
This guy was teamed up with Rotterdam. Rotterdam was on the keyboard. Single Vindictor was on the mouse, and just with his mouse, like executed this perfect marine split. It was ridiculous.
When you can do the stutter step with your mouse comes in.
Stutter step with your mouse? Okay. But anyway, point being, StarCraft is around for at least another 3 years.
Ooh.
It's been taken off Blizzard's hands.
Yep. Oh no, how bad would that be if Blizzard couldn't something in esport of their
I
own?
don't know what that means for OCE because nothing's been announced.
Well, the problem is there. I think it's
that's where
like
the
if you
question
took
lies.
Dota off Valve's hands and you just lost the international. I think that's the difference because Blizzard had that funding and everything like that. But if you've got ESL stepping up, it'll be just like Counter-Strike where Valve doesn't give a shit. So
yeah, like it'll
still work.
PGL do the international, but they white label it.
Yeah,
it's not as PGL. It's just the international.
Yep.
And they've got that.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's.
But this is now an ESL product
in Valve when you buy the ticket and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But obviously Blizzard are fully supporting it, so they're going to have all the cool perks that you'd normally get with a developer supported title. So that's good news for StarCraft. What it means locally, yet to be seen.
The esport that never dies.
It's eternal.
Yep.
And for good reason.
Yep.
I hadn't watched StarCraft in quite some time.
So there's a sport that, like an esport, that you just be like, that will always be there.
Yeah.
I mean, Counter-Strike, you've had times where you're like, something's come up.
2009.
Call of Duty, then the next thing.
Yeah.
But StarCraft has not even been tested by anything new. It's just like, it's a mainstay.
No.
Warcraft came for a bit.
Warcraft birthed.
Yeah. Warcraft came for a bit, but...
StarCraft.
Well, Warcraft's coming back. They got the new one coming out.
The Frozen Throne remastered.
Yeah, whatever it's
I
called.
want to see some returning players. I want to see
Can you make a new RTS?
Glade. I want to see Moon. I want to see Grubby.
Legionnaire
was StarCraft.
Yeah.
He was Brood War.
Yeah.
I'm talking Warcraft 3.
What's that guy's name? The bald guy.
The bald guy.
Mm-hmm.
The bald guy that played the game or the bald guy in
Warcraft
this
3.
game?
Warcraft
The
3.
Australian.
Yeah. About?
Or...
About? Yes.
Yeah, I think you might be talking
Yeah, no, Warcraft 3.
Philbot.
No, Philbot was the bald guy. No, Bout was the bald guy. Philbot, I feel like, had hair.
Philbot had hair.
And was he massive tall?
I only ever saw him sitting down, so I don't know.
What,
Esports coverage
WCG?
ain't
Did
what
you
it-
see him at
ain't what it used to
WCG?
be.
Is that how you saw him?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
I
think
never
Bout
saw him
was
sitting down.
might have been the WA player. I can't. Anyway, he went to professional poker as they all did anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But yeah, point is that's awesome. It's still on the cards for another 3 years, and whatnot. I think it is almost time for Max Mailbag.
Almost or is?
Almost. I want to touch on one other thing,
All right.
which was the long run saga of RLCS. I know you were touching on it before, Mac.
I tried to jump the gun.
I joked about it being in our living room, but there was a point literally where it was unannounced. It was 2 weeks overdue, and it's good to see it has obviously been announced. So for those that don't know, RLCS qualifiers finally come to OCE. They start in February, and essentially they have upped the prize pool. The previous couple seasons have been $50,000 US. It's now up to $75,000 US.
Good jump.
So they've actually increased the player accolades. Actually, no, I don't think they have. But it's just the prize pool. The team prize pools have been increased quite significantly. But the thing that I hope for the most is that the TO running it, LPL, have been able to squeeze a few more dollars out of Psyonix for helping to underwrite the costs of running an RLCS, because quite frankly, Psyonix are judge, jury, and executioner on who you can bring into the space. So if you're running the tournament and you want to bring a sponsor on board for RLCS, you need to go to them and get them approved. And quite frankly, that's not an easy process because they can be quite distant to deal with. They don't respond to emails, and I'm not really surprised that it has taken so long to have RLCS announced, because Psyonix are notoriously slow, and honestly, anything outside of their own bubble in North America and a little bit in even Europe are complaining. But in that bubble of North America, they've just released a collegiate league, which has got just as much prize money as OC RLCS.
Yeah.
And that seems to take away all their attention. They just go cold on everybody outside of that. And essentially, I'm not surprised it was delayed. So I just hope that they have been able to get some support from the developer to help underwrite the costs of running this thing. Because unless, Psyonix have released their iron grip on who can and can't be involved with an RLCS season in terms of sponsorship, then it is going to be very difficult for them to justify continuing to do it, because I guarantee you they are sinking money into it and they're not getting it back.
What happened to Epic buying Psyonix?
Look, to be honest, I haven't seen too much in terms of changes just yet. I think right now they're just happy to let Psyonix run the ship.
Right.
But I know that changes may be on the way. I've been told that there's changes on the way.
But they haven't happened yet. That's pretty much what I was asking.
But they haven't happened yet. But it's essentially going to deliver more support to other regions, because, as I said, they're very NA-centric, NA-focused, and even other regions, when Europe starts crying out for attention, you know that things aren't quite going right, because it's usually the bigger region, right?
Yeah, in terms of viewership, etc.
In terms of viewership and player base and things like that, North America only can supply so much. But yeah, they need some support in other regions. They need other offices outside of North America to help do things. To be fair, too, the only two regions that aren't run by Psyonix themselves in terms of their qualifiers are OCE and just recently South America. So they don't often deal with third parties. So communicating with them can be quite slow and frustrating. So yeah, I think it's good to see. Obviously, they've got more money for the players, which is great, because they only get 2 of these per year. Outside of that, the sweet FA in terms of developer support and running a second tier or bubble league or anything like that. So maybe that is a little bit of a sweetener for an otherwise pretty barren outlook on a community calendar. That is, everything else is purely community run. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more. The only other thing that we saw in this region that was Rocket League based, that wasn't purely pushed by Psyonix, was the DreamHack stuff. I want to see more of that. We know that last year there were 4 DreamHack events out of the 12 that they did that had Rocket League featured at it.
Yeah,
I want to see more of those incorporate an OC qualifier, because I think that was really good. That gave players something to play for outside of RLCS. Because essentially, it used to be like Rainbow Six, where if you didn't qualify for this, you got nothing.
Yeah.
Even while the league stage was being played out, all those other teams that missed out They got nothing to play for.
So is that kind of where PUBG's going? Anyway, that's another conversation.
That's another conversation. Let's give us Max mailbag. I want to do a funky intro for that. Max mailbag. Bag.
Yeah, all right. Well, that'll do. It's kind of copying the Skrilla one, I feel. But
Mailbag. It's got more echoes. Bag.
Anyway, so Sean couldn't get enough of the show, so he's back asking questions.
Oh,
you know,
they always come. They always come.
They always come back asking questions.
Back asking questions.
Did I leave my jewel here? Anyway,
I've lost my sunglasses.
Do we have to have the camera on for this one? No, Sean, we don't. It's all right. Anyway, what are your thoughts on NA Riot announcing Bud Light as a sponsor?
Oh, it is very much a case of do as I say, not as I do for that. Because for years they have stipulated that basically, I mean, obviously it made sense. If that was their hardline approach and it was a family-oriented game, you don't want sponsors that have products targeted at adults. You don't want gambling companies. You don't want alcohol. Obviously, cigarettes are just off the cards here in Australia as well. But you don't want those sort of involved in anything. They've taken a very hard line. I think even going back, Imagine Bureau pinpointed this was G2A, a service that I think at that point in time were responsible potentially for some boosting services, which obviously goes against League of Legends TOS.
Yeah.
But those guys have they basically told OCE orgs that were partnering with them to remove that partnership and break all ties. Don't be associated with them. You can't do that. But at that point in time, I'm pretty sure I thought G2A only offered cheap games.
Cheap games, yeah. And then that was another issue as well, stolen games, etc.
Stolen games, cheap games.
Yep. So G2A was a very rough thing. I think it's still around, isn't it?
It
is. Still there, still doing its thing. Don't know if anyone uses it anymore. I don't see it advertised anywhere like we used to. Anyway, that's off topic. My take on this is I didn't know why people weren't reaching out and doing beer sponsorships, etc.
But they backflipped. This is what I was going to go on to.
Who cares? It's good.
I know, but the point being is that for years they've stipulated this was their hardline approach for it, and at some point they have
figured out that they were wrong.
They figured out that they were wrong, but they've backflipped so hard, it's not funny. And I want to see this now open the gate for more opportunities for teams to commercialise.
Surely it will. I hope it does because, Bud Light, it does just taste like water, as we all know. I don't know if you guys know that, but it really is probably one of the wateriest beers I've ever
never
drank.
Actually had Bud Light.
No, I had it when I was in America. I was like, oh, this is the party drink. It'll be sick. And it was just like...
Now you know why it's the party drink,
It's
because you can drink it so easily.
It's because they had the frogs advertising it, right? I remember that. When they used to actually have shows on TV about world's greatest commercials. That's the only reason I know about it, really.
Well, yeah. So my thought on it is great. That's amazing. And I hope that Carlton Draft or Han or something starts sponsoring Australian Counter-Strike. That'd be amazing. I'd love it.
I'd love it if they sponsored an event here because...
What do you know, Ian?
That would be good for consumption of alcohol at events, which Australians like to do.
Carlton Dry, get it for $5 a cup instead of
and
$15.
maybe the odd beer snake could be incorporated somehow into that. That'd be great.
Without getting the venue shut down.
Without Bay 13 getting in trouble.
That'd be nice.
Can't even do it at the cricket anymore.
Saw that. Yeah. That was like a piss poor beer snake. The esports one was so much better.
Well,
but like that one was
traditional sports
cut off early.
Really learn a lot from us.
It was just a young beer snake.
That's it.
It was a beer hatchling.
Didn't have a chance to shed its first skin.
No, look, honestly,
I
think...
I want to hear Ian's thoughts before we...
On the beer thing?
Yeah, on the beer
On the beer thing in League of Legends.
The hypocrisy of Riot. Look, you've got to do what you've got to do to stay afloat, don't you? So, I think it's good that it still exists because of the beer sponsor.
Well,
cool.
They must have paid the most. They've gone out to tenure.
It must have been a lucrative enough offer for
what's good for the goose
Riot to backflip on their stance.
So, look, I think stances like that are shit anyway. Like, look at the gambling stance for tournament organisers and Counter-Strike and stuff because of the gambling fiasco back in the day. Forget
Betway is still around.
Mate, you watch... You know as well, supercars. You know, do you remember the day when it was alcohol, cigarettes, you name it?
Yeah.
Why would you shoot yourself in the foot? Why would you cut off your nose to spite your face? If they want to give you money, I remember I've seen McDonald's ads, I've seen World Series of Poker ads, which are arguably worse. Like, let's not do that and just allow anything in. Whoever pays the most gets it. And whether it's ethical or not, or moral or not, like, let other people worry about that. Because to run the business, you need money. And esports, you need a lot of money.
Well, I mean, look
And
at
it's shit beer anyway. No one's going to... You can't even drink that shit irresponsibly. So
But
go for it.
even if you try.
If Riot are listening, I'll happily drink as much Bud Light as you send me. So
Yeah, well, it's got to come straight from...
Why would they do that?
It's LCS. It's only in the LCS, by the way, which has the worst logo.
Yeah.
It is the most basic thing I've ever seen.
is it LCS?
It's literally LCS on a shield.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sick of shields. Get rid of shields.
You don't like
Didn't
shields?
Dignitas just go to a shield?
No, they went... Oh, maybe, yeah. They went to like this owl-looking thing.
No more Chiefs, please. No more Chiefs.
I like their other stuff.
See, I always, when I
One
first saw the
shield
Chiefs
only.
logo, I thought it was like a bug with fangs. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I was like, oh, it's a shield. I was like, oh, it's still okay.
What were you
It's
on?
not a shield.
You're on the good stuff.
It's a
I
chief.
was young and creative. Anyway, and we'll wrap that up. We'll get
Yep.
through. There's actually a fair few questions.
We got smashed.
Still Barlin. Again, there's a follow-up question. Also,
Who?
who would win in an arm wrestle between Jim and Mac? And
I don't arm wrestle.
I just win arm wrestles, so
My dad would win.
that's
Well, real talk, I've seen enough
snapped
elbows
arms, yeah.
and arms snapped in real life to not arm wrestle.
Yeah.
So,
Although, if any woman would like to arm wrestle. No, just kidding. Mac's not interested. But,
that was hilarious.
Oh, well.
Well, there you go. So we have clarified.
Depends
When
on the
did
audience.
you stop going to the gym?
Yes.
okay, so
My fault.
I didn't. There
I
you go.
take
So that
full
answers that question.
responsibility
Ian-
for this.
Yeah, but I'm still jacked.
Same.
But he basically he hurt himself playing extreme sports.
I have been sidelined for a few months now with various ailments of Mr. Potato.
Yep.
So we're
His
just
leg
gonna,
got pulled out.
I'm going to get back into it as soon as we can stay awake past
It's
10
true.
o'clock.
It's true,
Yeah,
we're old
Ian's
now.
getting old. He's
But-
getting there.
What? I'm same age as Jim. Jim's
But
older
the
than
reason
me.
I know it has been 18 weeks is because
Courtesy text message.
no, not even that. I literally got my phone was updating. It's like apps that you haven't used in a while,
Yeah.
and it was Crowd DJ because
That's where
our
you,
gym
yeah,
has Crowd DJ.
Best.
Yeah, we just want to pump, Tina Turner and Jimmy Barnes, simply the
And
best,
Rick Astley on the way.
and
out.
Rick Astley on the way out. That's how we roll when we go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's what gets us fired up. But the app was like, you haven't used this Crowd DJ in 18 weeks. Do you want to delete it? And that was a sad reminder. I hadn't been to the gym in that long.
It's getting close to half a year, mate. You
That's
gotta-
my fault.
18 weeks, half a year.
Oh, it's what? 20,
That's some
25,
that's some Wollongong
25 and a
maths.
half.
Wollongong maths, right?
25 and a half, 18. It's
Nah.
only a couple of weeks away. It's
Nah,
like 2
nah.
months off.
I
No,
know.
mate,
I
it's a
remember.
leap year, mate.
I remember
It's
it
a
like it
leap
was
year.
yesterday, October 1st.
2020 is a leap year, mate.
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and since then haven't been back. But we're ready.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is
I haven't
it's
been
the-
here for half of it either.
It's almost the end of the first
Same.
month of the year,
December, remember?
and we just started the year. Time flies.
Anyway, I'm getting jacked in 2020.
All right, get there. Get this, son. All right, moving down the list of questions. Try to guess what this is. All right, did you guys see it?
Yep.
What do you think it is?
Sounds like a drum.
Yep. What do you think's playing the drum?
Probably a duck or something stupid.
It's a duck or something stupid. It is a duck waggling
go
its
with
little
something.
feet on the duck.
Seen it, mate.
Jess has said that this isn't a question.
Do we do secret
It's
sounds?
a drum
now?
roll
Is that
because
what-
we're back.
Yeah, it was essentially a drum roll, but also she thought it was really cute that there was a duck playing the drum. And then there was a follow-up question, which is good because there was an actual question.
I'm going to
Is
use
it-
that as a drum roll as the intro to our segments.
There you go.
Season
Du- 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 du-
2.
du.
Season
Get the
2.
soundbite going.
All the melodica covers.
So this is Jessica_Park66 on Twitter. Is it FAMAS or FAMAS?
Well, who's saying it? Mike Tyson?
I think they're both
That'd be
accurate.
FAMAS.
Fammoth.
That'd be Fammoth.
FAMAS.
There's enough Fammoth in the world, okay?
Well, it depends. I alternate between the two, and depends on how I'm trying to work a pun into it.
Of course. Well,
No one wants to be rich and famous.
there you go. We don't discriminate on the FAMAS or FAMASs here. Okay. Anyway, we've got
We're not going to
Maverick.
Fammoth shame.
I want to be rich and famous.
at Maverick Master has asked,
Who?
how awesome is the SC2 and FGC community? Have we just been putting up with shit all these years in the FPS scene?
I'll be honest and say I've worked now with multiple different communities in heaps of different titles. Rocket League, Starcraft 2, FGC, Sim Racing. All those guys...
FIFA.
Well, not so much FIFA. We were sort of... that was all online. We didn't really interact with the players as much. But again, still super understanding. All of them are so accommodating
Yeah.
to work with. I think that the perception around CS is they are difficult, but it's also because they have one of the most weirdly intricate games, and in that sense that like settings vary. There's so many variables in CS compared to other titles that, you know, that is what makes them a little bit more particular about how things are run. So yeah, I think they are difficult because of the nature of the game.
Okay. Well, there you go. I was part of the FGC community for a little while. It's pretty cool.
What did you
Everyone
play?
was really chill. Smash, remember?
Oh.
Played a lot of Smash.
Did you go to the Gong?
Yeah.
Like-
There's been some big controversy down there recently. I think the UAW VGA is getting shredded for something that's gone on.
Mate,
But-
at least they didn't run a Tekken tournament that changed formats like halfway.
oh, that
3
would
times
have.
through.
When was that? Was that the overseas qual thing?
No, it's local, mate.
Yeah, that was with the big craziness. Yeah, everyone getting behind.
There's AEL busing, then tried to bust the admin that ran it.
That's right. Anyway, off that topic, how awesome is SC2? No idea, haven't experienced it yet, other than you guys did the first
It was good.
Beyond the Summit in Australia that I've seen since I've been in part of
It was-
Esports.
It had
And
nothing to do with
Nothing to do with
Summit.
Yeah, it was
Well, you know what I
Auscraft.
mean.
Auscraft.
It's Beyond Kathmandu.
It was a lifestyle event.
Yeah.
I liked it.
first lifestyle
But
event that
I-
I thoroughly enjoyed looking at for a couple of hours.
In all honesty, just I think the fact that like they represent themselves and owning themselves, they're quite easygoing. They understand obviously how difficult it is to do these things, but like again, it's just the nature of a lot of titles where players represent themselves. I feel as though because there's nothing to hide behind, it's just them and themselves. That's where their personalities shine through, and they're more willing to be cooperative than some sometimes teams band together and they can be a little bit difficult to manage and deal with because if the whole team's not happy, it's it's a problem. Where 5 players are not happy about something and they're angry and
Yeah,
they
you can't
want
be the
something changed.
outspoken player.
Can't be outspoken players. So they all go one way. Whereas, for example, if one player does that, they're made to look like a diva
Yeah.
in those individual titles.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that'll sum up that one nicely. Moving forward, StarCraft 2 and FGC better communities than CSGO. So we went the wrong way.
I think
we
they're-
figured out why.
Yeah,
guess.
I think they're very
Theorised.
they're a breath of fresh air coming from CS.
Yeah, just less stress,
Less stress.
Just careful what you
less
say.
people.
No,
There you go.
I'll stick by that. Breath of fresh air. It's different.
It's because we're not part of the community.
Too.
We're outsiders.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
outsiders.
it's true.
We're
They're
outsiders.
probably just like, I'll bless these guys trying their best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Also, thanks for the business class flight from...
why did
Finland.
they instant replay that? It was pretty standard play.
And you guys are just like, yeah, that was fantastic. Who did that?
It's like no, we recognise a good marine split when we see one.
Anyway, I don't know too much about marine splits, but I bet you at Fan
Terran
Potter does. And
Okay.
she's very sad that the Chiefs have split. She says, Chiefs CSGO with sad faces. That's not a question. That was just a reply.
We're sad too
because
because it's another big organisation
Yeah.
Pulling out of Counter-Strike.
pulling out of Counter-Strike. Albeit not their fault for the moment. Are they going to rebuild? What's happening? Don't know. They haven't
one
even
knows.
announced the departure of those players. So
don't
I
reckon
think,
they will.
I think it's safe to say the writing's on the wall there.
Yeah.
How many times have those guys been burnt by CS rosters?
You could say that with many, many orgs in Australia, though. Anyway, moving on to actual questions. At T_A_G, you're it. John Dudley, a boy from NZ. Are we in a position domestically or abroad where team management should be the decider for roster moves, or should the power reside within the hands of the players?
I think we've been screaming down this
covered
microphone
this.
for months
Yeah.
that
Yep.
it should be with management.
Yep.
Yep.
Players obviously will have input.
Let the coach have input, but it's all on management.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up with people making it personal and things like that when the management should only be concerned about the performance.
Mm-hmm.
Especially heading forward. In this day and age, everything's evolving.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm happy with that. All in agreement.
Thanks,
we
mate.
got a lot. We got a lot to get through. That's all I'm saying.
You never asked me that question.
This is what happens when you get the tweet out early.
Yeah, a lot of questions. And yeah, we had a lot to talk about as well. So
It's true.
yeah,
Some of them rehash it.
If you were to use a single moment to sell someone on esports who isn't exactly familiar with it, which moment would you choose? This is from at Cyberwaste. Oh, I am Cyberwaste. Sorry.
Like, are we talking just individual across any game?
Yeah,
Counter
in
boy.
esports. Mine would be $1 Million Coil. I love watching that from Dota.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's just so crazy, especially once you start to understand how important it was.
Yeah, but we're talking like just someone that's outside who would, like, their first impression is esports.
I'm
They
gonna
don't understand the
say-
game.
I'm going to say ESL Cologne 2015, the NIP one
Oh, with Get Right?
with Get Right.
Chilling, breaking down
Yeah,
on stage.
yeah.
Pure emotion.
But that Lanxess Arena in Germany just packs out. And if you're an outsider, that's all you see. And then you see this team win, and it's like the grand final, and it was just like the best event ever, I reckon.
Okay.
And if I've shown people footage from that I recorded when I was there, and they're just like, I had no idea this was a thing, but they acknowledge it's a thing just by saying that,
Yeah.
and they're in awe. So I think that's what I would show them, because it's more about it, the crowd and the emotion and everything like that than the actual game. But it's only because of Counter-Strike that we have that.
I'd just like to let you know that your mum waved at me on Facebook Messenger.
Cute.
Yeah. Anyway, Jim, what's your moment? That was my moment.
Yeah, it was your moment.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not even esports related, but sure, I'm sold. I think, for me, honestly, if I was just to sell someone on esports, on emotion, on spectacle, I think spectacle's a big part of it, because obviously we have a lot of insider knowledge as to what made that win special from an esports perspective. But purely spectacle, I'm going to go out and go Cloud9 winning
The major.
the major in an A. Like, the
You could do
pictures
that
coming...
for you could do that for MIBR winning in Brazil. Like,
The pictures coming out of that, though, like the way they were shot, the way that, the players were all... Like, that was the pinnacle of their career, pretty much. Exactly. Crowd going nuts for it. It all just came together. And if I had to sell someone... It's not to say it's my favourite esports moment.
all those skins Skadoodle forgot to accept paid off.
But essentially, if I was to sell someone on esports, that's what I'd show them. Like, this is esports.
There you go.
On the flip side of that, what's something you wouldn't show them to sell esports?
What do you mean?
I buy power.
I got an I Buy Power t-shirt somewhere.
Far out. What a relic.
I'd
next
love to show people like Smash players rage quitting
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
mid game.
Counter-Strike.
Do you know what wobbling is?
Who?
Wobbling in Smash Melee. So there's a character called Ice Climbers, and you can get them in a grab in like a continuous lock over and over until like they just get knocked off the screen and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's just by like tapping the grab button at a specific timing with like the stick in a certain direction. Anyway, there's players that like know that they're done and they just get fed up with being wobbled by players that use Ice Climbers. So they just pull their controller out, get up and walk away. And they just give up because they're just like, screw it.
Well,
Can't be bothered.
it's inevitable. You're going to lose that, right?
Yeah.
So
If I know I said that was not my favourite moment, but my favourite moment is the Daigo parry from Evo. If you ever seen that, Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You've shown us.
I think so.
He's just like literally on the smallest bar of HP, like literally. Pixel.
Yes. No, I have seen that actually.
It's
Yeah.
like the perfect block.
It's the perfect block.
Yeah, and everyone
Everyone's just going nuts.
Yep. No, I've seen that. That's crazy. I just got tingles.
Like,
remembering
yeah, you
It's
could
like
show
moment
that.
37 or
Could
something
that be
like
the
that.
best moment to show someone? I think it could.
That's my favorite moment.
No, but could that
It
trump
could
your
be.
moment? I think that could trump your moment. But
Yeah,
that's 'cause
it's an old one. It's like Street Fighter 3, Third Strike.
Well, that's saying something in itself because of how old it is that
Yeah.
it existed back then.
Yeah.
So it could be like, if you really had your head up your underground.
Up underground? Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Any other questions?
Yes, there's still three
Far
more.
out.
Three more. From at Dweg CSGO, who was mentioned previously. I've seen a bit of talk recently about the lack of nats for CSGO in OCE and losing many players due to this. Is this a problem? If so, can us as a community change anything? I'm going to answer this and say no, because there's plenty of nats and the big teams don't play, so people see them as less important. As far as I've seen.
I think we'd already covered this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've covered this.
But I will just add to it and say that like LANs are super important
Yeah.
for building community, and
Everyone hates each other online.
everyone hates each other online, but also, yeah, like we talked about this in an earlier episode that, like, you know, there's a level of accountability associated when you know you got to turn up to a LAN,
Yeah.
and all the people that you may have been tempted to smack talk are also going to be there. So I think, you know, it builds community responsibility as well as community.
I think that's why things like FPL are so successful, because you all know each other on LAN because you're the best players that attend LAN. So there's no one on there who's going to be like stupid, basically. So it's self-policing.
Unless they're new.
Well, they're the ones that you have problems with.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
otherwise, it's self-policing.
Yeah. Correct.
Yep. Cool. Well, there we go.
Need more LANs.
Thanks, Dweg.
Always.
Need more lands. Will the best players come? That's the question.
Not super important, because community is, you can build that from the ground up. So even if it was a grassroots LAN, that's great, because now the grassroots guys know each other and done.
They might form teams. They might,
New friends. Amazing.
And
We
mates.
love friendship here at the Esports Social Club. That's what it's all about.
That's why we're a social club.
At 2Tap Tony, what do you think of up-and-coming shoutcasters coming into the scene and covering games from MDL, LPL, etc.? I think it's great for them to be learning.
Can't get enough.
Yeah.
What I want to see from those guys is, and I've seen some of it, is duoing. I want to see them duo. I want to see
Yeah.
them learn how to work with a partner.
I think that's probably the biggest problem we have.
And it like if you have aspirations to cast events, you're gonna have to work with a partner. So like
Yeah.
the sooner you can get yourself in the rhythm of throwing to a partner, learning how your dynamic goes, and
Legit.
just being
That's
familiar
what
with it.
you and Pete were.
Yeah.
You were a partnership that grew.
So it was same with myself and PK.
Yeah.
Going further back.
No one was ever solo back then.
Well, yeah. And the other thing too, I like to, and I've seen a bit of it now. Everyone, like a lot more people are doing it. Is they're showing their faces on camera, which is awesome because that associates now you're not
face
just
and a
a
name.
voice.
Yep.
You're a face, a name, you're a brand. I'll be honest and say that like some of the newer guys probably haven't seen casting because I try and like there's just so much content in CS to digest. But you know, if you are casting these things, and you know, I'll be real and say like a lot of your content might not get watched by
I've never
people
seen,
all the time.
I haven't seen any of it, but I'm saying it can't be a bad thing.
But it can't be a bad thing. I think it's good, and I think they also should be making a show reel.
Yeah, that's what I was going
If
to
they're
say.
casting all this content,
Clip your best stuff.
Clip
whack
your
it on
best
Twitter,
stuff.
Get it retweeted.
yeah, get it out there. Like get it on Twitter, get it on YouTube, get it in places where it can be seen.
Just think, like, using Jagan X as an example, not the best AWPer in Sweden, had a frag movie. Everyone thought he was the best
Yeah,
because they saw 5 seconds of the best over and over and over.
Yep.
yeah. And then it might just be that one or two, you know, hype moments of you hitting an MDL game
Yep.
that, you know, not many people were watching at the time, but now everyone's seen it because you've got your show reel out there and it's hyped and whatnot. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. So, like, I know a lot of the guys are out there on the grind. I haven't seen a lot of show reels come out from all that content you're doing. You're already creating your content.
Yeah.
All you need to do is go back through your VOD and clip it. No one's going to rail you for bad production quality or anything like that. Just get in there, get your best moments out, put them together, because I can guarantee you when a head of talent comes looking for new talent, they're going to want to see the most without having to dig through stuff. They're going to want to see this.
Yeah,
they're not going to dig through your VODs.
Your good moments.
Exactly.
And what you can do in the moments that aren't so great too, because that's quite important to keep the attention of your viewers.
Correct. And obviously, as I said, working in a duo, you already have that dynamic set up from the get-go. You're learning good habits from the get-go.
Yep. Cool. Well, there's our hot tips and our thoughts on that. At Basync with 2 C's, so BASINCC. Thoughts on OCE RLCS being 2 weeks behind the other regions, plus any comments about the teams and organizations of this season being earlier, teams and organization, rather, of the season being earlier than past years due to the Olympics?
I already touched on this, but again, like huge focus on a very narrow scope from Psyonix. But it has a flow-on effect to OC. It always will, because when we're in the last regions that I thought about, it's quite clear that's the case. Better late than never, though. Good to see there are some positives to come out of it from a prize pool perspective. I just hope, as I said, they've managed to get a little bit more for themselves, which in turn is only going to enhance the overall product. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some changes in the way that Sonics operate. Obviously, they're a very small team for the level they operate to.
Cool. I don't really have any thoughts on it because I've just been listening to your thoughts, so I'll just be repeating what you said, really. Similarly, Ian has the same thought process. Well, I guess that's it. The mailbag is empty.
Unheard of.
All right, so there's some mailbag empty. All right, we had a lot of...
Should we dip it in some soy sauce?
I don't know, can you taste it?
Well, apparently. That's what experts reckon.
No. A drip under pressure.
You're being taken for a ride, mate.
Yeah. I'm
going to try it.
How new on the internet are you, actually,
Is
Mac?
this your first rodeo?
I've seen
I'm going to report back next week, and my nuts are going to taste salt, boys.
a new segment, Max Myth or Truth. I don't know. Something like that. Ball bag.
Max Ballbag. Cracking the myths. Well, all right. I feel like that's a good place to leave it.
All right, that is a great place to leave it. Once again, special shout out to our sponsors from Day Dot, Skrilla. We've been, I guess, very fortunate enough to have their support. They're an Australian company, and they're offering betting odds.
That could work.
You want an echo?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's...
We'll roll with that.
We'll get
I'll
there.
get you in the booth. I've got like a little mic set up now,
Yeah, we could just be like...
and we'll do some sound effects, and we'll clip that up.
Yeah.
And we'll just mash that into a radio-style segment. Radio 1.
Yeah, become voice actors.
Yeah,
Get it
exactly.
done.
It'll help us with our GTA roleplay.
Mm-hmm. We do not need help, Jim.
You're right. You're right.
Everyone out there already knows.
But special thank you to Skrilla, and very fortunate to have you guys on board, and also great to have them obviously supporting with the Australian scene as well. It's not just us that they support; they do also, I believe, at the moment are also supporting a lot of Australian streamers as well, and have some talent there, and they're giving back to the community. So if you are going to make some esports betting,
I don't know anyone else doing it.
in Australia.
Mm.
Sure, they're the first in Australia that offer esports betting. But do also remember to gamble responsibly. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a long time coming. We've had our time off, but we're going to be trying to get content out weekly, gentlemen. Weekly. That's right. Ooh. We're back in 2020. We'll be also trying to cycle some guests through the podcast couch as well. We know that there are a lot of people who wanted to get on the couch in 2019. They simply just weren't in Sydney when they wanted to get on the couch. So that's a shout out to everyone. If you're passing through, give us a yell. We'll try and get you on the couch as per request. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm looking forward to 2020. I think it's safe to say that, little by little, the podcast has started to gather some momentum.
Yep.
And I think we're also looking at doing some potential other content, maybe even some live content as well. We did a few streams in the initial stages last year as well that were on Twitch with the major. So I think maybe some more of those to come. Who knows? We're going to keep you guys guessing, but believe me, it's going to be worth the wait. That's right. We don't have a roadmap either.
Woo!
Oh.
Bloody hypocrite.
Bloody hypocrite. But no, in all seriousness, we know what we're doing externally. We just know that you guys are going to love it when you do eventually see it. I've been Jim Anesso. I will still be Jim Anesso. Joining me was Ian Sniper Turner, Jody McAleer. Any final thoughts, gents?
Nah.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
All right, we will catch you next time.